At least nobody comment show up those. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another episode of Pep Talks in the morning. It was cold last night, so my voice is a little iffy. I don't know why. And all that Sahara dust. But nevertheless, we are here. Good morning, Adasa. How are you?
Good morning, Lems. I am okay. Okay, all things considered. Thank God for health and strength this morning. And, our crazy little land. How are you today?
Crazy as joke, yes. It's like I don't even know what direction we head in. Is we just getting ripped to shreds, all different directions, and we just dragging and going because the prime minister talking once at a shit while doing shit. The opposition think we doing the best we could, but they're not, and it's like they they're not seeing that they are weak. And when I say weak, they only picking and choosing certain things to talk about and discuss. They're not simultaneously attacking this government where they're attacking everything this government throw at them, and everybody have their voice in the ring, everybody have their gloves on, and they could hold their own. So keep talking about, the private sector. He want private sector public permanent secretaries. The opposition was supposed to be all over that. That is a terrible decision. The top cop issue, they're supposed to be all over still. This nonsense with Bricks Hotel where Keith feel he's part of the 1% and he's one of them abodes, all up in the people thing. They should be all over that asking, what are you doing there? Your country in a hot mess. What mind your business, Keith, and stick to what is you're supposed to do. See about the public purse, not your personal purse. Right? Then your prison officers in a hot mess, regiment in a mess, Coast Guard in a hot mess, national security in a mess. You have a jackass as Minister of National Security who ball. It's not my job to ensure the citizens of this country safe. Come on, people. I'm not even here to make sure my neighbor dog's safe. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
And that's
everywhere.
what we mean when we say they're weak, because you are allowing all these things to just roll with the wind and all they're fighting up over who should we put as temporary senator. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
you
the the opposition doesn't even like register to me anymore. Um, they're really weak and they're really doing a really bad job. On the other hand, though, what we have is our entire country can no longer keep up any charade or any facade. The whole country is, you know, coming apart at the seams. And I was watching this show on Netflix called Inventing Anna about this socialite who pretended for years that she was this German heiress, and she was able to convince a lot of people, banks, powerful organizations, to almost give her a lot of money to fund her dreams and things like that. And at some point in time, of course, it comes to a head where you can't keep with the charade. It all comes falling apart, and that's what I feel is happening in our country right now. Everything Nothing could be held together by
the
anything.
life.
Even Keith Rowley's personal life now is starting to spill out into the public space, where now he is going to have to answer for certain things. But when you look at how poorly our roads uh, are maintained, when you look at how poorly WASA is maintained, when you look at the crime situation, when you look at how clueless all the ministers are, they don't seem to know what to do. The minister of security have no idea what he's supposed to be doing. The minister of finance trying to put a burden of thousands of dollars on people who are looking towards retirement, may have to possibly work for another 5 years because they don't have any money to pay pension and stuff like that. When you look at everything, it's no, it's really amazing that we
And we
don't
have
get
a
up one
set of
morning and the
people,
whole place don't implode.
and we have a set of people in parliament over 65 making decisions for people under their age. Them Coleman Bird need to retire. Keith Rowley, Kamla, all of them over 65.
Yeah,
More
which
yesterday
is
than
the
tomorrow and want to make decisions on our future.
exactly,
Disrespectful.
exactly, which is the difficult thing about politics, um, over any country, because it doesn't necessarily have to be that the person who is making decisions necessarily are older, but it's the fact that when politicians make decisions for us, we have to live with the consequences of those decisions for
Yeah,
years, maybe even a generation. Um, and that is the whole point. Are these people the right people to be stewarding the country, to be making decisions that affect every aspect of our lives, our security, our national security, our health, our economy?
no, not
They're moving from one bad decision to another one.
yeah, because you saw the article with Guyana, how they're going to be making so much more oil and
Yeah.
moving away from, just Guyana. Now it's Guyana. Yes.
Yeah, but their president, he also seems to be very fascinated with Dubai. I think he has like a personal goal of making Guyana like Dubai, which
By Caribbean.
when you think of like aspirations in terms of a president wanting to leave his mark or what you want to do for a country in terms of where you want to take it, that is really good. And we always ask the question, what the hell does Keith Rowley aspire to? What did he see for himself or Trinidad and Tobago when he threw his hat in the ring and said that he wanted to be prime minister?
It was not about
Because
Trinidad and Tobago. It
did
was
he
about himself. Clearly,
what was he dreaming? He clearly was having shitty dreams because this is a nightmare.
he was dreaming about having twins.
Woo! Let's talk about that. Trinidad
That's
and Tobago.
I don't know how many of you know. We don't know how accurate it is. We just going based on what Anil Robert said in his little video
But
about
now
some
there's also a picture that is circulating social media.
and they resemble
And like
resemble
Anil Roberts said, these two little girls, they really look like him. I don't know how much of a positive thing that is. But my mom told me if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. But
well,
these two
your
children, they
mommy
look
needs
like
to
him.
send an email to Keith Rowley and tell him that because as prime minister, he's never have anything good to say about anybody, and yet still he's be blabbing away, and he can't mind his ducks in a row. His ducks all over the place, embarrassing his wife and children. Because I can't imagine how much more of that shit Sharon could possibly take. You are the first lady, and what you going to be hearing all these things about, your man leaving you in the night. If all guys remember when I said they don't sleep in the same bedroom, that's it coming there. That's the truth. They don't because how she didn't get COVID if he get COVID? It is
Right.
impossible.
Well, the public is finding out about this now, but it is very possible that things did not necessarily have to be good with them for a while.
So that
Because
justifies going outside and making a baby with some
no, no,
random.
no, 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 no. I'm saying it. This could have been the result of these children are about 6 or 7 years old, right? And she did not have to find out about this today with us. She probably knew about this for a long time. Women does know, yes,
Yeah.
find out. You understand? So Keith Rowley somehow has allegedly fathered twin girls with a woman who allegedly he is keeping in what do you call it?
Korea keys.
Like a mistress at Victoria Keys, with these two little girls who, I mean, they are the spitting image of this man. So, I mean,
That's
I don't
it's
know
going
how
to
to feel
known
about
as
this.
because
I
Trinidadians
am,
tear us apart to
yeah.
bits.
I mean, I feel like marriages could hit a rough patch and whatnot. I think the issue for me is that this is now starting to show itself as part of his character. Father children, lie about it, hide it.
Yes.
Um, and I mean, if that is you, then claim your shit, you know. But he is not that type of person. He's never the type of person that says, "Yes, that was me. I made a
He's
mistake.
not an
I want
honest.
to apologize to my wife." He will never take the bull by the horn, face this thing head on, and sit in the nonsense that he has created and be a man about it. No,
No, he's not that. He's not honest, and that's one of his character flaws. He's
right?
not an honest person because if he was honest, he'd have got rid of Stuart Ass long time. He would have got rid of Farris. He would have gotten rid of Fitzgerald. He would have never bring back Fitzgerald Hines in the first place, right? Because you would have been honest with yourself about the type of leadership you want for your country, and you just don't care. You're just doing whatever you want because you are the prime minister, and
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah.
say goes, and what you want goes. I can
Yeah.
imagine the amount of secrets his security detail have on him.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
places he's be going. He know about all them whole house in Shogunas. Obviously, he's been there.
Exactly, exactly, right? And and then you look at his actions and you recognize that the well-being of certain people is very important to him, because somehow he found himself at the opening of this new $400 million luxury hotel that is owned by the likes of John Abood, Anthony Rahal, Alvin Kalu, and Ruthven Smith,
And then
right?
in that, right, you said that those names, right? But in the picture, you saw Mute there, Keith there, and one other
You
guy
know?
cutting the ribbon.
Yeah, so he was there for the opening of that, and I am like, ooh, oh, for Kid Rowley to do something worthwhile for the people of Laventille or Port of Spain.
Well, the
So,
hotel in Port of Spain, right? I mean, it was Carlton Savannah, it was Pelican Inn.
but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? Um, the people of is East Dry River that going and get a panyard when what these people really need, hope and opportunity and things like that. And
But
I
it
just,
is
to me,
open
this just
opportunity.
shows me where his heart is and what he values, who he values, and what he values. Keith Rowley is not a prime minister of everybody.
No,
He picks and chooses. He picks and chooses who he wants to be prime minister of, and we should have known, because we have the recording of him saying that he went knocking on doors in where in Westmoreland and Goodwood Park and whatnot, and I was like, okay, but what about the other side? What about Cookerit and those areas?
Carnage. He don't go knocking
Yeah.
on the doors.
So no, 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 no.
He can't even
Those
walk in them areas without security.
those people he does stunt for. and whatnot. But our country is on such a disappointing trajectory, or we in such a bad way. We in such a bad way, Lemma.
And the thing is that people
When
need
does
to
the good news start?
people don't understand. It's not just Keith Rowley, it's PNM itself. Because no matter who they put there, it's going to be the same thing. People saying, if they put Penelope there, but she's already in these there and she's useless. She says nothing. She does nothing. She don't oppose anything. So she's perfectly fine with how things are being run. Because if you didn't like it, you would have said something.
I don't know.
Amory Brown, whatever his name is, same thing. Brian Manning, same thing. In the first place, how you went there to take a position after this man hung your father out of the office? You have
Yeah,
no kind of integrity, nothing
yeah. And
about you.
he admitted that he gave him a spirit lash,
Yeah.
right? And and that is what it is. We have people who it's clear as day that they are there for their own personal gain. And then we surprised when they don't do anything for us. Or we should not be surprised when it turns out that they don't do anything for us. I mean, I don't know how accurate this is, right? But apparently, the Minister of Public Works in Mongolia had set a record of wanting to provide 100,000 affordable housing units
Yeah.
for his people. The guy he made what, 70,000? He was able to achieve 70,000. And he said that if he did not reach this target, he was going to set himself afire. There is a video on social media where this guy set himself afire, right? Because he
He died?
promised. Well, I don't know. What I sent you is what I saw as
Okay.
well. It is the craziness. I don't know. He looked as though he didn't think that the fire was going to do him anything. That is how it looked to me, right? And then the reality set in that, oh shit, this is fire, right? But
Right.
um, but this is how seriously other ministers in different parts of the world take their role. The whole idea of I give my word to my people, I promise that I will serve, and
And he
this is
still
my
did good,
goal,
eh? He
and
still
he
did
still did
good.
good because
70,000.
yeah, exactly, he still did good because I am like, whenever has 70,000 units been built in this country? Right?
But not only
We
that,
always play
even
in
where,
dollhouse when it comes to housing, giving out 10 houses here and 22 units there and
yeah.
whatnot.
And the list long like, I don't know. The list long like PNM corruption list for people who want houses. The former prime minister or president or something of Honduras was recently arrested for um, drugs, corruption and drug transshipment and so forth. And it's like,
Mhm.
wow, look at that.
Yeah, and right now, even Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of the UK, he is in hot water and could possibly lose his job or maybe forced to resign because he had a party, right? And everybody's up in arms about that because it was supposed to be at the height of COVID when the whole country was supposed to be on lockdown. They were not supposed to be having social gatherings. And he is being held, his feet are being held to the fire because of it. I mean, we don't know what's going to come of it, but this is how people take their democracies seriously, right?
Yeah.
Some people are going to say it doesn't matter what Keith Rowley does in his private time. It doesn't matter if he fathers children outside of his marriage and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
but those are
then
character traits you want for a prime minister though, because
that is it. Exactly, exactly, exactly. That is the point.
That's not a
It is
character, a
about
good character
character,
of a man.
right? You cannot, yeah, he cannot keep his word to his wife, keep his vows, right? But we expect him that he will do right by the country.
Mm, yeah, right.
We can't expect that. It doesn't add
And
up. It
you're
doesn't
using
equate.
state funds to hush your indiscrepancies.
Yeah.
Denise
I
is
mean,
saying that Penny and Amory tried to block his position since the first election. It doesn't matter, and they are holding ministerial positions. And what they're doing, Penny is Minister of Housing, Amory Brown's is Foreign Affairs. You're kissing Keith ass now to for your position. You're damn well enjoying the perks of it, so okay, you like it. You can't want to sit down in it and then expect people to be like, yeah, well, she don't like what he doing, you know. Really? But then where's her voice saying, okay, where's her frequent visits to the Prime Minister office to talk to him?
yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, I feel like there's a certain amount of action that has to um accompany your
No confidence motions the
position.
UNC could bring, and none of them. So what? That means all of them have confidence in Keith. They
Yeah.
didn't stand up once, they didn't say anything. So they are part of a cult that will never say anything bad against him once they're there. So don't come and tell me, oh, they don't like it and whatever. You damn well like it because you're getting the perks, the salary, the drivers, the security detail, everything.
Yeah. I mean, the PNM is very good at hiding whatever is happening behind the scenes. If there is infighting and whatnot, you will hear rumors of infighting. You may hear rumors of the prime minister wanting to do a cabinet reshuffle because things are so bad. But they really do not air their laundry in public, save for that voice note that escaped during the Tobago House of Assembly elections, right?
Yeah.
That kind of got away from them with that little piece of bacchanal. But generally, they don't. Um, and yeah, and I kind of feel the same way. And it's how Philip does always talk about people and say, well, if the PNM have young blood and whatnot, that will make a difference and things like that. And we always be like, you cannot join the cancer and expect to cure it,
Yeah.
right? And as you rightly said, Penelope has never said vocally how she feels about certain things, even in terms of when you're looking at challenging a leadership. This is the time for her to now start to show, well, I could probably be a good leader. This would be what my leadership would look like, whatever. But
You know
she
what she
seems to be
doing?
sitting there taking everything.
She's showing people how she could open a coconut with a cutlass and be, very self-sufficient in terms of, things like that. That's all she doing. She could go to Tobago to try and fool Tobagonians how to knead dough to make dumpling and thing for crab when they was trying to woo Tobagonians and showing them, we know how to cook.
I don't know. I have nothing personal against Penelope Beckles. As a matter of fact, I quite liked her, you know. I quite liked her. But it comes to a point where you have to be like, you have been a part of a government for years that has permanently damaged this country. You have permanently damaged generations of people by being quiet, by upholding stupid decisions, and by simply not just performing in
Yeah.
your capacity in whatever role that they give you. And I just can't stand for it anymore. She might
No,
very well be a nice person, but
yeah, she might very well be, but at the
that's
same
not
time,
good enough.
look at what's going on in the Ministry of Housing, right? You give out 22 houses, and and that's some big, that's what a dent in the amount of people that want housing. No, it's not. There's nothing good about that. And then when you look at the demographic of people she give it out to, It was not a representative of true Trinidad and Tobago. You
I
just trying
always
to
talk about that.
appease. You trying
We
to
always talk
appease
about that.
certain people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They blatantly use public funds and everything to take care of their base. It is the most hateful type of whistleblowing and thing that I have seen. They do not care about everybody. You're right. It was not a beautiful cross section of the different races or what in Trinidad and Tobago. No, no,
Yeah,
it was with one type of people who was getting housing, right? People who I guess they are now bought for life because, well, I get a house.
yeah, yeah. I get a house, so I have to vote for this government. But that same house you get, if rainy season come, you could lose everything in it if rain fall too hard because it flooding in the area. Ask them in Greenville.
Um, so this is what we have. This is what we have. Um,
I saw a
um,
video of their stalwart Twiggy talking about how she don't even have power in HDC because of the chairman of HDC. So she can't say, well, I want to give out 100 houses. They telling her how much. I was like, but what kind of, this woman have no kind of oomph about her to say, well, no, I am the housing minister. I want to give out such and such. You don't tell me how much houses to give out.
yeah, well, of course she has to listen to them because, like WASA, HGC2 is also a political tool. There is nothing in this country, no organization that is not tarnished by the nasty politics that the PNM and the UNC plays, right?
They're not
When
going to
Phyllis
tell you
says
how horrible it is.
undo and redo, I
You know,
totally understand.
you know how in the States, in New York, down lower Manhattan. I mean, I've never been, but I've been watching all those realtor shows and home ownership shows where they would show you it might be expensive, but it's still easy for people to get rental properties in downtown Manhattan and New York and all these places, right? So you could be working and you get your and you could still rent apartment in New York, right? Where is that in Trinidad? Where you could get a rental properties in Port of Spain that is that HDC does. Beside not I'm not talking about like Shafford Quarter because Shafford Quarter is not a rental property. That's like I give my people something and they have it for life, whether they pay or not. But it does not make money for that for the country because those people don't pay, some of them don't pay their rent, they owe in and they can't get rid of them because they have to stay there to vote for PNM. But to say that you building these lovely new style apartments overlooking I don't even know what to say, but somewhere in Port of Spain that people who live in very far can say, look, I'll rent an apartment here and I could bicycle all the way to City Hall or wherever and
Yeah. But we've talked about that, the fact that our city is not a city for living. It is not. Really and truly, people come, they sell clothes on the street, they sell fruits and vegetables. There may be a few commercial buildings. People come to work in traffic, and then at the end of the day, they go home in traffic. And by 5, 6 o'clock, Port of Spain is a ghost town and a very scary place to be,
yes.
right? Our government have not ensured that the city was like a buzz with commerce and trade and entertainment and life and restaurants and
Night cafe
and
and
night cafe and art studios and things like that. That is not our city. It's not reflective of any type of advancements that we have made mentally in terms of art and culture, and it does not reflect that at all. Our city really, really, really exemplifies the nightmare that is life in Trinidad after dark. Seriously,
Yeah,
right? And that's what you're supposed to be having. If you're a doctor or you're a nurse and you're like, I don't want to commute all the way from San Fernando to whatnot. I am going to move into this city. And then that in itself brings life, because now you have entrepreneurs who's like, okay, what can we do for this new fresh batch of people who are moving into the city? Things like that. And that is why it doesn't go anywhere. That is
no.
why we have nobody has any seems to have any vision for Port of Spain as a city, as a commercial hub, as an
No,
entertainment center.
no,
No,
because
not
at any point in time you could be on Charlotte Street and you hear heavy gunfire from Duncan
right,
Street, George Street, Nelson Street, because the gangs
right.
were all in there. Hot
So
PNM.
whereas you could be in Manhattan and it could be 9 p.m. and he's like, okay, well, we're gonna take in a show on Broadway and then we're gonna have dinner. Taking what show? Where? Where in Trinidad?
Yeah, the
Where? And everything is outside of the city. So you have your nappers and your sappers and whatnot. But that is it.
Yeah,
That
but
is
Nappers
it,
and Sappers closed. And
right?
they ain't even saying, well, let's put on some sort of cultural show, some
Yeah,
cultural event. Let's bring in all our, carnival pictures of the former kings and queens. Let's bring back Tantan and Saga Boy and host them. Let's do some sort of, it's carnival time, so let's do a little, museum of kings and queens, show, so parents could bring out the children so we could show them what long time carnival used to be like, what traditional actual carnival supposed to be like, where they're showing
yeah,
you how all the masked men used to bend the wires and make the costumes itself instead of this prefab China shit, which is beads and bullshit and two jump and wave and all the beads on the ground.
right. But that's exactly it. I mean, outside of even carnival, we have not even explored as a people what our nightlife could look like outside of wine and jam and carnival. And you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We
Remember
have
how St.
limited
James used to be
ourselves.
a city that
Yeah,
never sleeps?
we have limited ourselves to a bunch of bars
Yeah.
and and whatnot. But we could have been so much more. There's no night shopping. You understand? To say that, well, you're in the
Everybody
city at
married.
night, so you're gonna get some shopping in while you're there. That
No.
does not happen.
No. You
It
want the
does not
people's food to
happen.
get
And the
broken
only
into?
flagship store in that you have in the city at night is KFC. That's what we are. We are KFC people.
That is why they could use KFC and turn it into a race thing too. And vex when people say, well, KFC is for black people. Because when they
Then
open KFC and they target doubles, that was what that was.
yeah, I saw it was a commercial that I was seeing where they were saying 95% of the franchisees of, was it Subway? It's one of those franchises in the US, right? But
Hmm.
95% of the franchisees were once just, yeah, sandwich makers, and then they worked their way up to owning whatever. And I was thinking how that actually affects customer service, right? If you know that you could actually work your way up into being able to own a Subway franchise or a KFC franchise or a Taco Bell franchise. In Trinidad and Tobago, there is no hope, right?
Remember we said
They
that on
do
an
not
earlier show that
motivate you.
they
Yeah, they
don't
don't
look at
motivate you.
opportunity.
Where they said, okay, if you work for 5 years, you could then now own your own franchise and whatnot, because nothing for black people, right? Right?
Excuse. Yes. Yeah,
Even if
remember we
even if
spoke
you
about that
want
in
it,
the earlier
even if
program.
you want the opportunity, it does not exist in Trinidad.
No, it doesn't. In no form or fashion. You have to literally go and save up your own money, see if you get a loan, and do your own thing. Because there's no hope. Because we have greedy businessmen who want it all for themselves. How much more businesses Mute will want? If you give him a chance, he want to own Trinidad and have slaves. That's what they would want. Same for the Abuds and them. And these are the same people right through getting all the the advancements, the move forward movements, the opportunities, right?
Not
We
only
want,
that too, anytime you give them an opportunity for them to comment on the socio-economic situation in Trinidad and Tobago, whatever, they always say the worst possible things about the people who have them in that very position,
yeah,
right? The people who provide their labor or who take care of their families and all their businesses and whatnot. They have the worst possible things to
yeah.
say,
The have-nots, remember?
right?
Yeah, the
And
have-nots.
they always try to say things like, well, I work hard for what I have. But Lima, when you look at the cross section of people on Charlotte Street who selling their whatever, 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 there's nobody harder working than those people who come out there from 6 o'clock in the morning
The
to sell
hustlers, yeah.
vegetables and whatnot and whatnot. And the only difference between those people and the people who have in this country is that the banks are calling them and want to do business with them, right? You have $50 million. Come, let me help you get another $50 million. But the bank will not give you a $10,000 loan to expand your little cart and
Yeah.
then take it to the next level and the next level, next level. And people fail to see that they have been born into advantages, right? That they think that they have created themselves.
Yeah.
And then they continue to feed into the same structure that keeps a percentage of the people down.
And not only that, these same people have shares in the bank if they own their own bank, right? They own conglomerates, right?
Yeah,
They own the pharmaceutical industry in this country. They own a lot of things. They monopolizing. That is what they are.
yeah, exactly.
Their labor force is the same people they look down on. Their
Yeah,
competition is Indians.
yeah,
And
exactly.
that's the reality in Trinidad. And if whether people like that, they don't like it, they don't want to hear, that is the damn truth.
Yeah. I
Indian
mean,
population is the competition for that 1%. And the African people is the labor.
and the
And they will
consumption.
never make sure them move from that to anywhere else. Because
Yeah,
they will constantly call them, oh, the have-nots. Right? And the middle class is the buffer between the have-nots and the haves. That is what they refer to us. Remember when Bourdain came and they were talking about, oh, we are we are a small bunch, but we are the most powerful. No, you're not. You're not. You're the greediest, nastiest set of people.
yeah, most
Powerful
ungrateful.
is the people who have the consumption and your labor. That is the most powerful. But those same blasted people don't understand that. They don't
Yep,
realize that. And if they were to stop buying KFC, Subway, fast food, let me see who will come out to sell their own chicken and their pizza. All the haves and the have-nots. You will come out and sell your own KFC and your KFC, your chicken, your pizza, your Subway. You'll go in the mall and what? Open all the stores. And that is the reality. But our people hell bent on not understanding their power.
yeah,
We
very
only
well
know it
said.
for certain things. We don't know it for the government and the 1%. You will buy talk doubles and I not buy none, not a doubles, blah, blah, blah. But I will go and buy KFC and make the man who had so far kid probably ass more rich.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, I started to be very careful with how I spend my money because I started to observe that for every dollar I spent, I started to ask the question, who is getting most of this dollar? Right? When you fill up your tank at certain gas stations and when you buy your groceries at certain supermarkets, when you buy your clothes from certain people, or when you use certain companies to clear your goods that you buy on Amazon, and when you just do certain things, go to Five Islands or whatnot, I started to be like, who is benefiting from my hard earned dollar? And I just started to be more discerning and more careful of how I spent my dollar. I'd be like, okay, I am going to support certain supermarkets and whatnot. They might not be as fancy or whatnot, but then I started to make that conscious decision because it's this kind of drone mentality, this kind of like going through life not thinking. All right. And then one day you wake up and you have people like Jeff Bezos, right? Where in the United States, I think he gets 50 cents for every dollar that is spent that passes through that economy. Jeff Bezos gets that because he has been able to create that. But I mean, that has to be a whole conversation, right? That has to have be a whole ethical conversation as well.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way, right? Because you're right, there are certain people who monopolize everything in this country. And then I feel like, well, I no longer want to contribute to that,
Mm,
especially if you cannot expect them to show up when they are needed. You cannot expect these same people who are upheld so much by poor people, and then you can't see them in the pandemic. They gave out no hampers, they helped no one, right? We have to start to look at these things and we have to stop rewarding bad behavior, right? All these companies supposed to have some type of social cause that they care about, that they're supposed to be investing in, whether it is providing instruments for schools or whatever it is. I don't care what it is, right?
yeah.
But we in Trinidad, we can allow people to become filthy rich, and then we don't have any expectations from them in terms of giving back, right?
I wonder
And
how
they
many
pass this
people
down to their children who now to reap the benefits and they don't believe that they have any responsibility to give back.
and the thing is, to tell you how KFC, Burger King, all of these places could have done, they didn't have to do it on such a large scale, but your own staff itself, because that's the same people you want work for you. But those are the same people who probably don't have devices and internet.
And what they will say, what happened? We just work hard for whatever. Let them figure out their business.
Yeah, but you don't pay them enough.
You don't know and nobody wants to talk about that. I was having a conversation with my aunt, right? She lives in the UK. And I just realized that her being exposed to that culture has totally changed how she thinks about the employer employee relationship. So she was talking about things like, well, what about going in and negotiating for your salary based on your years of experience? So she's talking to me, right? I was like, Auntie,
They
that
don't do
sounds.
that into
I said that sounds really well and good, you know. I said, but I literally had interviews where the owner of the company is warning me not to ask for a high salary because they just pay bonuses at the end of the year. So keep in mind, we just pay bonuses at the end of the year, so don't ask for a high salary. That is what we're dealing with in Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
But she's like, no, you could go in there, negotiate your salary, negotiate your perks. I say, Auntie, what perks you talking about? She said, perks, like a travel allowance and a gas allowance or what. And I say, Auntie, it doesn't work like that in Trinidad, right?
Only
We
certain
have made sure that
positions. Yeah.
our working population has no power. We have no power to negotiate. And that's why everybody went and take this stupid vaccine, not because they believe in it. Everybody was just trying to hold on to their jobs and trying to survive.
Yeah, negotiate. What's that?
Negotiate? What
Not
is
even
that?
public servants negotiating right now because nothing
Negotiate.
happening. You have a Grinch as the
No,
Minister of Finance. He
yeah,
wants everything for himself, like you swear coming out of his pocket. He
yeah,
doesn't know anything about finance, economy, nothing. Our economy is stagnant.
yeah,
But you know who booming and who growing though? The 1%. Yay, let's open a 400 million Briggs Hotel. Formerly
yeah.
Carlton Savannah, formerly Pelican Inn.
But we talked about that 2 or 3 shows ago. The fact that the only industry that is growing in this country is the fast food industry, right? Every Monday morning, some Mario's opening somewhere, a KFC opening somewhere, you know?
Starbucks opening our next branch during a pandemic. Like we can make
And
coffee.
those are
No.
the only type of jobs available. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Slave labor.
yeah.
Slave labor. Now, don't get me wrong. I am pretty sure that there are a few organizations in Trinidad where you could negotiate your salary, and they are trying to have more, modern relationship in terms of employer, employees, whatever. But it's not the norm in Trinidad. It is not the norm where you, as the employee, supposed to be so valuable that you're supposed to be going and say, this is how many years I've worked. This was my last salary. This is
Our
what I
human
want to earn
resources.
now. Da, 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 da. We have not empowered our people like that, right?
But also you see it everywhere. We don't utilize our human resources to the benefit of the company. So like police service, prisons,
Yes.
fire, the regular public service, etc. You have all these people who do degrees in law, criminology, um,
And
all
then they
kinds
left to
of
waste
things,
and
and
rot.
we leave them
Yes.
in the position they enter, and they retire in that if they choose to stay in that organization. Whereas
Yeah.
TTPS has a legal unit. Instead of hiring some fancy attorney that trying to kill people out on the sea, you're bringing all these legal people who doing it internally. Now, I don't say you can hire consultants and these same lawyers who in training learn off of that because of the type of law that that lawyer, that consultant is dealing with pertaining to police service. I don't mind that, but you're still utilizing your legal brains in the service, and therefore so you're moving them out of the positions that they were in to bring them into that legal field. So that means you're opening up more positions for people to fill now and there, and then you're going to have police officers who doing OSHA, environmental, health, environmental law. So you will get all the different areas now. Why we not doing that? It's the same thing with fire service. You'll have men who and women who go in to study all the different types of fire prevention techniques or whatever. These people have to leave fire service to open their own private practice,
Yeah. That's
own
very
private
unfortunate.
business.
That's
Instead of
very
you
unfortunate.
have them there and you training all these junior officers and you sending them for further training, and you come in and so you could know, right, there's the fire blanket that they're utilizing now. There's the smoke thing where you throw it in and it
And
takes
suck
all the
out
oxygen
the
out.
oxygen out of it. Yeah.
That is thing that you're supposed to be our fire service forever training and evolving because you have
No.
your own teammates doing that.
No, exactly. The thing about it is, if we as a people are not big on continuous learning and growing, we will always be stuck. The Prime Minister has essentially insulted people who have worked many years in the public service to now say you are not good enough to be a permanent secretary, right? When the government has not invested in you, they have not trained you, they have not even given you the tools to do your job.
Yeah,
Sometimes you will talk about the fact that it have no toilet paper in government offices. It have no paper, it have no pens, nothing, right? After all of that, then he
Working.
will jump up and say he want to get permanent secretaries from the private sector, when what he needed to do was to pour into the people in the public sector to
Yeah.
make sure that they were good enough to do the
Private
job.
sector people inside of there as any permanent secretary is a terrible idea, because you're going to have the same problem you have with Police Service Commission right now, where Bliss could change her mind and make a decision based on what you say because you give her the position. She got the job through you. And throw the whole Police Service Commission in disrepute now till we can't appoint the person who topped the merit list. That is what you will get in every ministry if you put private sector people there. Because
We need
private
to
sector
stop
people have
interfering.
walls. They're not going to say, well, whoa, you gave me a position and I'm here to do the position. I'm not here to kiss
Yeah,
your ass because you gave me a job. You gave
yeah,
it to me because I'm qualified for the position. And you
yeah.
cannot run public service like that. It cannot function like that. You're going to end up in serious problems. This is why customs going to end up in problems. They forever taking people from the outside public service, outside the private sector, to come into customs, and people from the private sector don't understand the bureaucracy, the bullshit, and the craziness that customs is, and the small salary.
Yeah.
And then on top of all of that, look at what customs doing, people, based on what the finance minister telling the comptroller to do, hold back people thing and charge them more. And
And charge
customs doing
them
that
more.
shit for a while now. It's just that people have been taking it and not being vocal.
Yeah.
So you order something and it's taking forever to come in because why?
And we have this culture about us that at every turn, when we have the opportunity to make something easier, we compound it and we make it more difficult.
Yeah,
Right? We
yeah.
are we never think, let's make customs easier for business, and what this would mean for entrepreneurs and business people who are bringing in goods and trading and whatnot. No, no, let's always make it more difficult.
They're
And
using customs
and
to
that's why,
stifle entrepreneurs because
yeah,
they
of course.
want people to buy from their 1%. They don't want people to shop online and bring down their own stuff. That is why
Hmm.
they increase the online taxes. That is why they increase online taxes, because they don't want people by
No, they
shipping.
don't.
They
They
want you
don't.
to buy it from the 1%. So you could buy one item for 3 times the price.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Colin Burt will say, oh, the online shopping using up all the US. No, the US that people thief out from your private vault in your house, that police never investigate as to how it is you could have that, that is where the US going. All you say,
Exactly.
Tamla, thief out all of it, that is where you say, and yet still police never investigate to find back all of that. That is where the US going. Not in online tax and online shopping.
Exactly, because that is why you have to question Keith Rowley's sincerity when he now talks about digitizing the public sector, right? Because digitizing the public sector should go hand in hand with now training anybody in the public sector, in sharpening their skills, honing their abilities
He
and
on
whatnot,
complete
so
bullshit.
that the whole public sector could now move towards, finally breaking into the 21st century. We don't have that. You don't have that. You can't be saying in one breath you want to digitize, but then the people in the public sector not good enough for you to appoint permanent secretaries and things like that. You're contradicting yourself.
But not only that,
It's either
Hadassah,
you
the
want
man
to
is
improve it or you don't.
he just talks to try and, because that is the way of the world, and he wants to sound like, yeah, that's where we are, but we're not there. Because when you go in a government institution, you see in books that line from the top of the bookshelf all the way to the ceiling. That's not digitization.
Hmm.
When you go to pay your inland revenue, you just take more than half an hour because they have to go in a book, turn the pages, write out receipt thing, ID, blah, 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 and then hand you. That is digitization. When you go in City Hall, anything digitization looking inside of there? No.
I mean, that
No.
is going to be a massive project. It's going to
It
be a
is.
massive
It
project.
is.
But I think it is really, really worth it. I remember working at Port Authority. I was young. It was my first job out of high school before I went to UE, right? It was one I had a gap year. And I remember at that time the Port Authority was now they were moving all their records from um all these notebooks and ledgers and papers onto an accounting system. And it was me and a couple other young people who was interning there and whatnot. And we did this, and it took months. It was months of overtime. It was months of working Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday. You understand? It was months of that. But the accounts department was so much more functional and whatnot at the end of it. Now this is just one organization, right?
Yeah.
Doing what 30 years or so of putting their records or whatnot, and that took so long. But it's going to be worth it country wise for us
It
to do
is.
that, to have every citizen's record in a digitized form, because it's going to mean that you're going to get things done faster, you know. Um, and I see the benefit of it. I know it's
I
going to be very
understand that the
expensive.
entire public service already also sees that,
They
where it would
should do it.
benefit young
Yeah,
class that coming in could tell you, but why are we doing this like this when we could just do it this way? But again, some of the older heads is like, yeah, no. And then if you have a backward CEO that doesn't understand how computerizing certain things would be beneficial to the company, then
yeah,
that is part of your problem too,
it
right?
is.
You
It
want to
is.
digitize and talk this big digitization thing when they don't even have photocopying machines that working properly, right? The printer don't have ink. Your IT system could get hacked by some Russians and you can't get back your information. You have to sit down and go through everything by pen and paper to go back through to make sure, right, this person pay this we do that. Your NIB section in your NIS section in your department don't actually link with NIB there, you know. And it's not a matter of pick up the phone and come, you know. NIBs have to send the clerk with her little briefcase to come and check, right? We're looking for records between the year they start there. Oh, no, on the computer still, you know. Look the book.
Yeah,
Let's get digitization, right?
yeah. I
This
mean,
talk, this
we
big talk, and the reality of it is like, Keith, you have never been in a government institution to understand anything, how it works, or how it underperforms, and it underperforms from the top down.
yeah, yeah,
It is always top down a problem in this country. Top down. It's never from the bottom up. The bottom does always have the ideas. The young, vibrant people like, right, why are we doing it this way? Let's try this. Let's have a meeting to discuss why this happening. And they, no, 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 no. Why you want to have a meeting to talk about what? To come with solutions that we can't have? And then what? And then every single time all you want to have solutions to these problems, and then they'll label you a rebel, and they'll say, Hulema, she's a rebel, she only wants to come in the department and change things. We don't want change. We like it how it is. And then we joke about it and we giggle, keep over. Oh yeah, you need to get something photocopy. Yeah, that rack your brain, right? Which machine in the entire building functions properly? Who do I know in that department who can photocopy it for me? That's
yeah,
the shit you have going on, right? To tell you how freaking bad it is, you could say to do a burial, right? You have to go down to the cemetery with your cemetery card. Tell them, I want to open this grave on this day, on this time for this funeral. They'll tell you, no problem. Go to pay for it. So you have to go City Hall to pay for it. When you reach City Hall to pay for it now, and I've told them this time and time again, why don't you computerize the system so that When you pay for it, it
It
automatically
shows up there. Yeah.
registers in the cemetery. So now you don't have to carry your back that receipt to the cemetery keeper all the way over in Woodbrook or whichever cemetery and show them, right, I paid for it. Why isn't it so easy? In the first place, why you even have people leaving the cemetery to pay for a burial? Your head already hot with the fact that, oh my God, my loved one is dead. I now come into open grave, and that is stressful by itself. So people who come in to bury their loved ones don't have time to grieve. You just get the process done. After the burial is over and all of that, that's when you people get to grieve. Right? That's the foolishness of not being digitized. Why you can't pay for your burial in the cemetery
Yeah.
one
It's
time?
unfortunate. It is unfortunate. I remember when I was opening my bank account in the US, and I was talking to a manager in the bank who is Trinidadian, right? So she living there years now. She have her life there, whatnot. And she says, if it's one thing about my people, when you all come to the banks, you always be so overly prepared, right? Because you
Yeah,
have all the information and whatnot. And she said, I know that that is the symptoms of what you call it. I can't remember, but she's basically saying that we're so accustomed to things that happening in one day, and you know you had a line up long and all kind of things, so you just come with everything. All this photocopy and that, and your two former ID and this paper, and I have this just in case, and all kind of thing that these people don't care about, right? And you go on in the bank with a file thick so because you're thinking it must be harder for me
yeah,
as a Trini to open a bank account when right? And I must have all my papers to show them. When in truth and in fact, she just wanted one document for me, was a form of ID and a letter showing, where you're residing. And that was that. But that is what happens to us. You just
yeah,
have to plan in the morning and get up early, 5 o'clock in the morning, because you have something to do in Port of Spain, right?
yeah.
And you have your whole file or folder of things because you don't want nothing to go wrong. And after you do all that in Trinidad, you will meet somebody who will tell you, this is not what you need. This is not the form you needed. You needed another form. And
Yeah.
by the time you go and come back, we will be close here to come back tomorrow. We are accustomed to things not working the way it's supposed to work in this country.
Yeah. And when it works in one day, let's say half day, you're pleased and you go on social media. I get you in licensing in 45
Yeah,
minutes.
we are always
Some
surprised.
clicking thing. That's
We,
nothing. You're
we are
supposed to do
always
it online
surprised.
in 5 minutes, 10
We are
minutes.
always We are surprised when things work out in a
Yes.
day and you get through. I get through easy, girl.
When I went to renew my driver's license, the girl asked, you using the same picture or you want a new one? So I was like, if I use the same picture, the process will be faster. She's like, yeah. So I was like, all right, fine, we use that same picture. Faster, my ass. I stayed there the same length of time. People went and take new picture and all kind of thing. And I was like, I
Oh
thought you
wow.
said faster. Like, it's better I take a new picture.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
and I just wonder, like, where they hiring all you from? Like, there's go through, like, right, she not sour enough. Let's get somebody more sour than her. Like,
Yeah.
you born in a series 3 or some kind of thing. Right?
Yeah.
Real sour people. Come on,
Yeah.
man. I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is what we're supposed to be asking ourselves. Are we satisfied that Keith Rowley is just talking about digitization? All right. Or are we at the point where we recognize we need somebody who recognizes that we need this as a people, as a society, and it is important that we implement it, right? Because he doesn't have to worry about that. I mean,
Yeah.
like
You don't worry
seriously,
about
he does not have to worry about that. There is no issue that Keith Rowley has to encounter, whether it's with financials, his banking, his lawyer, his health, or whatever, that the inefficiencies of Trinidad and Tobago gets to him. He's immune to that because of who he is. And
yeah.
we now need to say we need people in there who understand these things and who wants to change it.
Yeah.
Not for a few, but he wants to change it for everybody. I mean, I'm thinking our country is probably so embarrassing to family members who want to bring their loved ones. You get married and you want to bring your German spouse or whatever, and everything just so hard and backward,
My
and we
sister
always have to
lives,
be making excuses. Yeah, that's how
my,
it is in Trinidad. Eh? Sorry, the
my
service
sister
real
lives
bad. Eh?
abroad, and
This thing that could take 5 days, that could take 5 hours, will
yeah,
actually take you a year. Sorry, yeah.
my sister and her husband, they don't come back to Trinidad because why? Trinidad is too difficult. There's and how describes it, he's like, why would I come here when yes, it's a beautiful country, you'll have a lot of potential, but your government ruins it because there's not enough to do, there's not enough to see. He's like, and then by the time you get through all that traffic and all this red tape, your day is over and you're wasting your time. He's like, it is better I go a country that actually has their shit together where I could go and do this in 5 minutes, this in 10 minutes, see that, go to the beach, have dinner, still have something to do in the night. He's like, I don't have that there
Yeah,
in Trinidad.
and people underestimate how unproductive traffic makes a country, right? Because there is nowhere in Trinidad that should take you more than an hour to get there. I'm talking about from point to point.
Yeah,
It should not be. We are a little island. If we have good transit, if we have good roads, then this now becomes a problem that we could eliminate. But no, you have to use the same roads, the same systems to do everything, to go everywhere, right?
yeah,
And you as a tourist, right, getting caught up in 4 o'clock traffic, all you want to do is go and see birds in the Caroni Bird Sanctuary, but you get stuck in traffic, and that now becomes so frustrating.
yeah,
There's nothing fun about that.
no. And if it's not that current going, your neighbor playing music till 3 o'clock in the morning, you call the police, they never show up. And there's a set of shit all over the place.
We need to do better. We need to do better. I mean, people always talk about, well, yes, yes, put on your best face, yes, put out your best china and your best wares when company coming over. But we don't care about company coming over. We don't care about the how hard it is for tourists in our country to navigate, right?
Hadassah, who
And how
cares?
you be feeling scared for them when you see them walking on Nelson Street. It's like, what are you doing there? Do you
Yeah,
want to die?
we're getting robbed. Yeah, yeah. I just be like, when I see them walking and they have their cameras, be like, hello, put that camera back in your bag for me, please.
I just immediately go and say, listen to me. What it is you're trying to do? Where you're going? I said, okay, so you want to do so and so and so. Get out of here quickly. It is, I mean, and I don't even think doing that is a bad thing, because I could leave them and then they could very well get robbed and have
Well,
their money taken from them and whatnot and whatnot. I mean, seriously, right?
and then when you go in Central Police or Besson Street, hi, good day. How can I help you? Or you came to report a crime? Hold on, let me get a pen. Sarge, let me get a pen over there for my place. The station diary. I don't know, the pen was here and it not here again. It gap and walk out. Just a minute, huh? And then when you finally get the pen, but this pen in writing, over, Sarge, what happened?
And this is how we look to
Yeah,
outsiders, to everybody. And this is frustrating to me. I could imagine far more
yes.
for
Somebody who
whoever
comes
else.
from a country that works, that years want to pick up that stationery and slap them down like, oh gosh, get it together, man. Mom, you ain't eat breakfast this morning. What's up?
You understand? And trust me, they encounter it. You cannot tell me that these people don't encounter it, because we've had people who've been denied entry into Trinidad and Tobago because they already had the Moderna shot, and we wasn't even thinking about Moderna yet. We've had people who had the casing of a bullet as part of a pendant, and we had our stupid customs officers take it away from them. And I'm like, why do we at every turn, at every level, behave like the
We have
five world backward
immigration
nation that we
officers.
are?
We have the immigration officers who refuse our hockey team entrance to their own damn country from Chile because the PCR test was in
That was in Spanish.
a Spanish country.
Yeah, and there was nobody to treat with that, right? So let us stop pretending. We need to stop pretending, and we have to ask ourselves that if the whole circus farm that we have in Parliament, these are the 41 that we want or that we need to take us forward, right? They are not benefiting anybody. They're not benefiting. Half of them are not thinking about living their sunset years in Trinidad and Tobago.
No.
Half of them already have their business fixed, right? Planning to move to the US, to Canada, to the United Kingdom, to Germany, wherever,
Yep.
right? We're supposed to expect more and demand more from our leaders. Why I feel like this show going on real long today?
It is.
We just talking. We ain't even talking about anything in particular.
No, but that's to tell you how bad
Anyway,
it
guys.
is. And we need people who actually understand this in Parliament. This is why I keep saying we keep electing people who don't have a clue about public service, public life, what it is to be a tourist, what it is to be a sports minister. What Shamfa know about any ordeal any of our sportsmen or women just go through? What? Nothing. What she knew about being a tourist? Not a damn thing. Right? What the housing minister know about housing? She know where's the problems to go to mortgage finance and have them say, so you don't know anybody that you could come with and join together to get this house, girl? Like,
Yeah.
like it's a house that I could just literally split in half when we fall out, or the man
Yeah.
decide, you know what, I pay in half, you pay in half, I bring in my family and you bring in your family in a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah. But I feel like that is what you get when you don't go into something with actually a vision. Or when you have not received any mandates even from your prime minister himself in terms of, all right, in terms of housing, we want to build this amount of units, we want to achieve whatever, we want to make ease of business easier, whatever. That is what I want to do. I want to get a report in 6 months, and every 6 months after that. Because if you go in there with a clear vision about what you're supposed to do, then you're going to start talking to all the stakeholders. You're going to start talking about, okay, what are the pain points in terms of buying a house, in terms of town and country. You're going to go through all those things. It's like, okay, so I'm going to now organize a team, and that is your responsibility. You're going to make this more user friendly, make it easier for the public, whatever. I mean, to me, it is very, very simple, right? And I am not trying to scrap every job down and say it is easy. Not necessarily, right? But for crying out loud, right? The reason why we know that they go in there with no goals is because when they come out, things are worse.
Yeah.
And at the very least, the same.
Yeah.
If you went in there with the intention of improving it, of making it better, of making it easier, it would be at the end of 5 years.
Yeah.
It
And
would
it's
be.
the let's go with Ministry of Works. If that just say right, this year we're going to only focus on major roads. So you'll pick all the very busy roads from a certain point to a different point. Say, right, we need here paved, we do it. And then you pave and then you test it out after you go and you check it out and see, right. But if you pave it, how you could see the lines and the unevenness in the road. And then you tell people who you get a survey done, people who frequently use the road, what are your thoughts on this particular improvement? Was it done satisfactorily? What you think could be done to improve, to change, whatever? And you take the people advice and you actually say, right, this is a good one, let's implement that there thing. You left out something there, buddy, because look at how chunks of the pitch coming out already. You need to fix that over. We're not paying you extra for that. And that's what we need to start to do. It have certain parts of the highways that need done. Sinclair Boulevard is a road that needs serious, a major repaving, right? there are certain parts of Western Main Road that have sinkholes. The Queen's Park Savannah, Ryson Road gets in sinkholes. And
Arpita
you see
Avenue,
some
all of
serious
them.
depressions in it. Yeah, Arpita Avenue have a few as well. You're seeing it. It's only a matter of time till rainfall or the area flood or soaking, and you will see a major hole. Right at the top of Cipriani Boulevard, when you bend it from the Queen's Park Savannah, you're going down there. They put a drum right on it because it was a tiny hole, and now it is a huge crater there. And when you bypass that crater and you're going around, there's a huge depression right there. So you still have to
Yeah,
take your time and go down in it. And we don't even know what that depression means. If it's a continuation of that major hole waiting to collapse. So somebody could very well be driving a day and then bam, they end up down inside of what is, I don't know, down in
yeah,
hell.
yeah. I mean, I always feel like um for the very fact that we actually have a pitch lake, that any innovations or inventions that has to do with creating durable roads or roads that last should come from us. And I feel like we should be pushing our people towards that. Um, but we don't care about saving money and doing work that lasts,
No.
right? So that is why our roads are so bad. Because as soon as you pave it, you have to pave it again.
Because we
That is
don't
a
hold the
major thing.
contractors accountable. We don't.
Yeah, of course not. When they could do the shoddiest work and they
And
know, well, in 6 months again, it's going to be a piece of money. Yahoo!
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. Like right now they're talking about Mosquito Creek and UNC going behind the contractor and they want the contractor. And it's like, but that is all your contractor. All your fall out. All your vex
No,
see more body with Rohan and all your. Because that's all your go-to contractor too for all them major projects.
yeah.
Who all you was going and give it to if all you was in office? Not the same friggin' people. Ah,
Anyways,
I don't know where we're going.
I'm
But
exhausted.
every rope have its end. We turn in, the whole country turn in. We will be forced to turn too, whether we collapse completely or not. It's still a movement, but our eyes will be opened. It has to happen, whether Trinidadians are ready for it or not. Whether you're racist or not, whether you're tribal or not, it will happen and you'll get with a slap in your face. That's where we're heading. And I look forward to it.
I am not looking to slap at anybody in the
I,
face.
I would love to. It have so many people like, whew.
All right. So, guys, I think we've come to the end of today's show.
Yeah,
Very interesting discourse. And sometimes it's good for us to dig deeper and try to understand why things are the way that they are. All
yeah,
the answers could come from us, huh? All the answers could come from us. If you ask yourself a question and you already know the answer,
yeah.
we very well know that our salvation has to come from us, and we to put aside all this nonsense about racist and tribal voting. That's not getting us anywhere, and it keeps people who don't deserve it in silk drawers
Mm-hmm. And mansions
and
and
luxuries,
luxury and perks while all you're catching all your ass fighting over these people.
right? And we supposed to start to say, okay, it's time for us to have a government that actually wants to see teachers being able to buy and afford the cars that they want, to live in the homes that they want because they deserve it. And doctors getting the recognition and the respect that they deserve. And farmers, not struggling to get contracts after they spend
Accountability.
months, planting their crops and whatnot.
Yeah.
Our country is too upside down, and it rewards people who do not deserve it.
Yeah.
And everything is too unequal. We need to fix that.
Yes, we do. We need to get accountability so that, Fitzgerald Hines can say, my job is not to ensure the safety of Trinidad and
And
Tobago.
then fire him on the spot.
Then the day after, a few moments later, he's apologizing while he is being removed as Minister of National Security, stripped of all his perks and luxuries and whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Now let him go and fight up with national security now with no security detail and no chauffeurs and no escorts and anything like that. And let me see how safe he feels.
Yeah. Let him go in Lavantel, where he like to brag about that he has to go with the security detail.
Anyways.
So, guys, we've come to the end of our program. So, join us on Friday. Hopefully, we'll have some good news to tell you all on Friday.
Yes. I'm going to be combing the news for good news.
Good luck.
All right, guys.
Until then, guys, join
Be
us on Friday.
safe.
Bye. Be safe.
Bye.